Hello. Hey everybody. Today is day 26. We're going to do lesson 36. It says, I can multiply a fraction by a whole number. Now, if you look at the very bottom of your little packet there, in the really little letters, it says, I represent the multiplication of n times a over b times n times a over b using the associative property of visual model. Okay, that's a lot of words. I'm going to make this short and simple for you. We're not going to submit this video is going to be pretty short because honestly, we've done this stuff before. We're just going to multiply a whole number times a fraction. And you have to remember, multiplication is really just repeated addition. Just as 4 times 2 is the same as 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Looking at problem 1A on your guided practice, you've got a problem that looks like 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4. That's repeated addition. How many 3/4 do I have here? 1. Same thing as 4 times 3/4. That's all. Matter of fact, for the problems 1 and 2 on the top on your guided practice and on your homework, your assignment, just rewrite these as a multiplication problem. That's all I care about. Just write those problems as a multiplication problem. So number 1 says 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4. Well, that's 4 times 3/4. And I'll erase this one. If you look at problem 2 says 7/12 plus 7/12 plus 7/12. Well, how many 7/12 do I have here? I've got 1, 2, 3. So that's the same thing as 3 times 7/12. That's all you have to do for those first kind of 4 problems on there. It does say draw a tape diagram to represent. Don't worry about drawing the tape diagram. Don't. I just want to see this. The tape diagram, let's not confuse it. Let's just see, look, we've got, how many times do I have 7/12? I've got it 3 times. So just solve it that way. Or just write that down. Then, when you get down to like problem number 3 on your guided practice, and I believe also on your homework, now they're going to start having you start to solve some of these. So let's look at 3A. This is 3A on your guided practice. I've got 7/5 plus 7/5 plus 7/5 plus 7/5. Well, how many times do I have it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the same thing as 4 times 7/5. Now, we've discussed this before. 4 whole numbers, that's the same. If I want to make that a fraction, remember, I just throw that over 1. Now I've got a fraction times a fraction. And remember, when you have a fraction times a fraction, you multiply your numerator times your numerator and your denominator times your denominator. So what's 7 times 4? Or 4 times 7? That's 28. And what's 1 times 5? That's 5. There you go, we solved these. So that's all you have to do. And they kind of show you that. They put, if you wanted to rewrite it, you could write it as 4 times 7 over 5. Because we know 1 times 5 is 5. And you still get that 28/5. But once again, now after that, you just go ahead and do the cowboy. So we've got our 28/5. I'm going to erase some of this so I have some room here. I've got 28/5. 28/5 was my answer. 28/5. Just use the cowboy way. And now let's make this a mixed number. 28, that's a 28. In the house, 5 goes outside. There's my horse. 5 goes into 28. 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. 28 minus 25 is 3. And there we go. There's my whole number. Numerator, denominator. So that would be 5 and 3/5. That's all you have to do. You multiply your whole number. It's going to be over 1. In all these problems, your whole number is just going to be over 1. You multiply your whole number times your numerator. Your denominator stays the same thing. Cowboy it. Let's do one last problem. And then you're free to go. I'm going to look at 3B on your guided practice. Actually, I'm going to skip to 3C. Let's go to 3C because 3B is not too bad. That's just 9. This is 3 times 9/10. We have, I'll make something kind of difficult. This is 3C. I've got 11 twelfths plus 11 twelfths plus 11 twelfths plus 11 twelfths plus 11 twelfths. Wow, that looks like it's going to be kind of crazy. And the number might be kind of crazy. But now, how many 11 twelfths do I have here? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 11 twelfths. So that's the same thing as 5 over 1. Because remember, if I want to make that 5 a fraction, let's put over 1. Times 11 over 12. Now I multiply my numerator times my numerator, my denominator times my denominator. Well, 5 times 11 is 55. And 1 times 12 is 12. And now I just cowboy this. And I say, well, what's 55 divided by 12? Well, if you know your multiples of 12, you know your multiplication facts, which hopefully you do, you'll know that if I skip count by 12, I've got 12, 24, 36, 48, 60's too much. So take it back to 4. And 4 goes in there 4 times. 4 times 12 is 48. And 55 minus 48 is going to be 7. So that's going to equal 4 is my whole number, 7 is my numerator, 12 is my denominator. There we go. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, silly. Kiss these problems. Keep it simple, silly. 4 and 7 twelfths. All I did is I multiplied. I had 5 11 twelfths. I multiplied 5 times 11 twelfths. Got 55 twelfths. And ended up with 4 and 7 twelfths. There you go. That'll get you through that work. You've got your assignment on page 484. Like I said, when it says draw a tape diagram, don't worry about it. I want you just to show me what these are as multiplication problems. For 1 and 2, and there's 2 parts there. And then for 3, it wants you to write it as a multiplication problem and then solve it. And you'll just do the rest of that. See, number 4 it says, solve using any method. Just use this way. Just use the way I've just showed you. And just go through the rest of the worksheet, solving it. Then on the last 5, 6, and 7, these are word problems. But guess what? You should be able to see, like where number 5 on your homework says, Colton is playing with interlocking blocks that are each 3/4 inch tall. He is making a tower 17 blocks tall. You're multiplying 17 times 3/4. Use a calculator if you need to. You can do this. On that note, y'all have a great night. If you have any questions, please send me a message. I'll see y'all later. Bye.